All right, everyone. So we're going to run up a live session here. It's December 5th. It's a Tuesday. We are going to be turning up. It's about 4:20 on the West Coast. Tune in here. You're going to be looking at 7:30 just about here on the East Coast as we run up this session. I'm going to share this one out far and wide, and we're going to get started right away because I have so much to get caught up on with you guys. It's going to be an absolute pleasure to bring this one to you. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Let me share this one out real quick on our Twitter, and we'll get rocking and rolling. Now, you guys already know the deal. Everything can be found at my website, zachrector.com, for all of our community resources, including our exchanges, wallets, and precious metal affiliates. What I'm excited to talk about here in this session, too, is $500,000 Bitcoin versus $50,000 XRP. So if you guys want to let me know what you think about that, which could more easily be achieved, let me know in the comments down below. Why am I having a problem here sharing the live? How are we doing, everyone? Thank you so much for stopping by. Apologize for keep you guys waiting here. I don't know why my deal's not working. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to ask you guys, could you please just share it out on Twitter and let everyone know that we are live now? And let's get this party started without further delay. My apologies. We are live for the night. It is a Tuesday. Let's get turning up. 4 o'clock here on the West Coast, 7 o'clock Eastern, and we're looking at a December 5th, 2023 date. Bitcoin smashing through 44,000. Take a look at the chart. Incredible to see. Back above 44,000. Peaked all the way up here at about 44,459. So, 44,000, almost 500. And for Ethereum, it's back above 2,300. Love to see it. Now, the reason why I zoomed out on the chart, this is the daily chart, zoomed out to when this rally got started. Remember that Monday, back October 16th? This is when the fake news Bitcoin ETF narrative got shared, and the rest is history. Bitcoin pumps all the way up here to 44,000 over the course of that previous month. Now, for Ethereum, it's been a steady climb as well. For XRP, it's been another fake out. We did climb. You have to remember that we did climb for XRP. It's not that we missed out on the gains in the rally. We definitely did. That's about a 57% rally right there. But it quickly got cleaned out. And what's killing our community right now is this sideways chop, this stress, this frustration. The XRP army, we've been vindicated in a court of law. Now we want to be vindicated with price action, right? And it is so frustrating to watch the rest of the space go. But you have to take a step back. You have to look at what's being built out. I'm going to explain it later when we talk about $500,000 Bitcoin versus $50,000 XRP. And I just figured if the Bitcoin bros can throw out some crazy numbers, why can't we? So that's why I titled that for the session here today, 500K Bitcoin versus 50,000 XRP. We're going to talk about it a little bit later here, but I wanted to get started off. There's some crazy current events taking place right now, guys. Let me know in the chat down below what you guys are seeing in your neck of the woods. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and it's just getting crazy out there. Take a look at what I'm talking about. We see Laporte, Texas, issues shelter in place after Altivia plant leaks toxic gas, 8 hospitalized. This was yesterday. Residents are urged to self-evacuate following a significant natural gas leak in Greenville, Ohio. Now, I didn't pull up the clip. You also saw that it was about 4 miles away from the White House. Arlington, I believe is where that was. But anyways, near the White House, there was a house that exploded while a SWAT team was trying to serve a warrant or a raid or something. There was a house that blew up. So I don't know if you guys saw that. And then we also saw that the UK's most hazardous nuclear site, Sellafield, has been hacked into by cyber groups closely linked to Russia and China, The Guardian reports. And then this morning, we get the memo here: stock up on battery devices and candles in case of grid meltdown, Britain's told by UK Deputy Prime Minister. So what is going on? And I talked about entering Black Swan season. The scenarios that we're watching are too many to count. Dozens upon dozens of different Black Swans, whether it's going to be a cyber attack, whether it's going to be natural gas leak. Once again, Ohio had that train derail. Whatever happened to that story? Is that still going on? I mean, it's just one event after another, so many events hitting us that we forget that there's all these events that have taken place in real situations, real disasters, and on a localized area. If you have been affected, that is a black swan. So I think a lot of folks, we've all been waiting for all systems to come crashing down at once. What we're seeing is just pieces of the system breaking on a daily basis. And you name the situation, you name the scenario, it's taking place and the threat persists and the threat grows. And the chaos will grow over the election cycle that we have here in the United States as well. So for better, for worse, whether it's real, whether it's staged, it's happening. You know, these events are taking place. Real humans are being caught up in the chaos. And that's not even including the World War III events. That's not including Biden's black swan. We're going to talk here about the current financial markets and the data that's coming out. It is not pretty. We get the job openings today. The jobs numbers were terrible. Job openings decreased by 617,000 to 8.7 million in October 2023. This is the lowest level since March of 2021. And if you remember, right, it was the jobless claims have grown to a level that we haven't seen since November of 2021. Okay, so the jobs market showing incredible weakness, and this has fallen below market consensus of 9.3 million is what they were expecting. Huge miss. That's a huge miss on the estimates. And now, as you know, with all these data points, we have to go back and see how they revised the numbers lower. And this is what they've been doing with the jobs numbers for the last year, basically, is every single month it gets revised lower. But we see a decrease in healthcare and social assistance of 236,000 jobs, finance and insurance down 168,000, and real estate and rental leasing down 49,000. And we're going to see a lot more of that. And I don't say that to make a joke or laugh. I say that to say strap in, as we've been talking about. We haven't, although we've been enjoying the bull ride, we've been enjoying the bull run, we're staying ready, we're staying prepared, and we recognize the real situation here in the streets, in the real Main Street economy, how this is going to impact you and me back home when we are trying to feed our families. Job openings fell in the South by 289,000, Midwest 193,000, West by 83,000, and the Northeast by 52,000, reporting here from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. So a huge miss on the jobs numbers, and we are also seeing the insiders. The insiders see something too, because we have NVIDIA insiders files paperwork to dump 370,000 shares. So NVIDIA just going up and achieving a new all-time high. What was that, about a week or so ago? Back above $500 per share, new all-time high. FinTwit bros are going crazy, right? Financial Twitter bros going crazy, losing their mind, just like the Bitcoin bros. And nobody wants to hear the warning. No one wants to hear the responsible adults in the room say, wait up, caution here, and actually just take a look. Don't trust me. You don't have to trust me, bro. Go look at the filings. They're looking to dump hundreds of thousands of shares. Jeff Bezos dumping $1 billion worth of Amazon stock. Jamie Dimon dumping JP Morgan Chase stock for the first time ever. Okay. And there's also big talk too about what's happening at Berkshire Hathaway too with the passing of Charlie Munger as well. Big transfer of wealth underway. As I've been saying, it's not just a meme to me. It's not a joke. This is the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Doesn't mean that you're going to get on the right side of it though. That's the problem. That's why we try to bring the content every single day, to get you on the right side of the transfer of wealth. Because the wealth is moving. The value's moving. The reset's underway for every single asset class. All of these markets coming back to reality. Now, as I've been saying, with this rally for Bitcoin up to 44,000, smashing through 40K, smashing up to 44,000. Enjoy it while it lasts, right? Because what we've seen, history tells us, you better strap in for when that Fed gives us that first rate cut. That's when the market, the bottom is already going to be falling out and we will be heading lower. What's going to be interesting to see is how crypto performs during this time. And my expectation is that crypto will be affected. Pullbacks will occur, but they will be bought up just as rapidly as they fall down. They will be bought back up. So take advantage of that when we get them. Just like the other day, what was that yesterday? XRP back down to 58 cents. 58 to 60, depending on what exchange you're using. This is why we have limit orders set. This is why we have relationships with these exchanges ready to go. So when the dip hits, we got an order already set, or we have options for getting a market order to go through. Now, what we see right now, folks, is the credit crunch and the credit squeeze is here. And as I just reported, you saw hundreds of thousands of jobs lost in the finance sector and also in relation to real estate. Well, let's take a look at this. Wells Fargo suspends new HELOC loans. So that's home equity line of credit. And this is what Americans have been doing, is they've been using their house as a credit card. And so we have to understand your cash flow must cover debt service. You have to think of your family and your household as a business, even if you don't run a business. You need to understand as just a simple cash flow statement. And we want to make sure that we're having a little bit of extra profit here. And we might want to even try to grow because inflation's not going away. And now the credit crunch is here. So where Americans were racking it up on the credit card, buy now, pay later, new finance a piece of furniture, finance a phone, finance your food. Literally, Chipotle now has been tapped into buy now, pay later. Buy now, pay later for your burrito. And this is not a joke to me. This is not something that makes me feel comfortable. It's one thing to be right and to have good calls and to be able to predict some of these things. It's another thing to actually watch the pain, the suffering, and the misery in the streets, to hear the stories from business owners of where they're at, how demand is falling off. And now this is where it's really going to get interesting, is the credits is really starting to squeeze up. Even if you want to go try to take out a loan, do a little deal, build a little business, now they're starting to tighten it up on you. Not only are you going to have to be paying more if you can convince them to give you that credit, but now we're seeing players like Wells Fargo completely suspending new HELOC loans. Now look a little bit further on this debt that they're having to deal with. And this will remind you of what took place during the Great Financial Crisis with the homes. During the Great Financial Crisis, they were bundling up all of these mortgage-backed securities and credit default swaps. And this is where we got out of whack, is we had a bunch of subprime loans. The whole system was one big Ponzi scheme, and eventually it came crashing down. What we're seeing now is the same thing. This is in credit-linked notes tied to a pool of auto loans. U.S. Bank is issuing $2.5 billion of credit-linked notes tied to a pool of auto loans. So it's like Wells Fargo's cutting off their HELOC, and we see U.S. Bank is like, somebody take these notes off us for these auto loans, right? Like, somebody buy this crap off of us. And it's the same thing that the Treasury's having to do right now with all the bonds that they're trying to issue. This is the debt, currency, and liquidity crisis meeting all together. Speaking of liquidity crisis, Butcher Wall Street Marcel shares this one. Margin calls from clearinghouses stoking crisis, warns the Bank of International Settlements today with an agreement with our post over the weekend. The Bank of International Settlements also warned that liquidity needs may force life insurance companies to recognize currently unrecognized losses. Where have we been talking about unrecognized losses? Oh yeah, that's right, $684 billion just in the U.S. banks, not including the $700 billion worth of bad debt that they have on the mortgage-backed securities as well. In similar fashion to the U.S. banking turmoil in March, the researchers focused on the impact when the central counterparty clearinghouses, known as CCPs, increase initial margin requirements its members during times of stress. What's happening right now is they're increasing those margin requirements, and nobody can make that happen. This is causing fire sales in cash and derivative markets as investors dump assets to raise the needed funds, increasing volatility further and triggering additional rounds of margin calls, the paper notes. Quote, CCPs currently manage a large pool of liquid assets, which supports financial stability by safeguarding them from counterparty risk, said the researchers. And they say, continuing on, at the same time, risk does not disappear, but morphs into systemic liquidity risk, especially in a context of margin spirals. The liquidity crisis is spiraling out of control. The debt crisis is spiraling out of control, right? This is it. This is it, guys. Total collateral in global CCPs amounted to $1.3 trillion as of mid-June, made up predominantly of cash, which includes items such as deposits held at central banks and reverse repurchase agreements and government bonds, the BIS estimated. Now, we've been talking about those reverse repo market, haven't we? We've been talking about that, how 100 billion got drained from that reverse repo market on Friday. That stockpile was equivalent to about 10% of all high-quality liquid assets held by global systemically important banks. The reverse repo operations today has seen more than 6 participants fail. 6 more participants fail to use the program as participants dropped from 90 on Friday to only 84 today. So there you have it. There you have it. Huge shout out to Marcel. Appreciate that update on the ongoing liquidity crisis. Now, what's coming in next is going to be a supply crisis, and it's going to be happening for silver. And the levels and flows that we're seeing right now out of the COMEX and back into the COMEX confirm that. So I've been showing you guys how the vaults keep on getting drained. This is very interesting, what we've seen over the past 5 days. Take a look at this, folks. COMEX registered silver rises by 531,000 ounces, almost 7 million ounces in the past 5 days. So you guys have been seeing me put out the little videos, put out the tweets. I've been retweeting a lot of Michael Silver Squeeze here on Twitter. $1 million swoops out of the COMEX. Hundreds of thousands swooped out of the COMEX. And then they add back. They add 1 million. They add 2 million. And then the next week, they clean it back out. Now, you've seen what happened to gold here recently going back to all-time high, and you see what happened to silver going back above $26 per ounce. Now, I will show you guys the charts here on those. They've had a pullback, another opportunity, and what they're doing right now is they're filling back up the vaults in anticipation of them getting cleaned out further. They cannot keep up with this, right? I mean, they are, right? They are, but you're seeing what they're having to do to keep up with it. Almost 7 million of these little guys added back to the vaults, the registered vaults, just within the past 5 days. Now, look at the scale. There was a 230 million ounce deficit last year. We were short 230 million of these guys right here. Okay. Now, you're seeing it. Vaults getting drained. We've been covering it. Price goes up. Finally breaking out, major sell-off, major pullback, as we warned about, as we expected, as is normal. But get ready for the next leg up. Think about this. This is what we've done before the Fed has done a complete pivot and turned back on the money printers once again. Where do you think we go after that? So although we're heading into a recession, although we're heading into some tough times, I expect the equities to correct, and you're going to see a correction most likely in the precious metals and the cryptocurrency digital assets as well. It will not last long because all of the suppressed assets have a bunch of crazy folks like us that are just chomping at the bit to be able to buy these dips. You want to give me 20 per ounce silver? Anything under 30 to me, I've been happy. Just happy as a clam to go load up on. Thank you very much. You know, and when you can get in and you got a good relationship with a dealer that can hook you up, the premiums aren't too bad. Like we partnered up with Miles Franklin, Andy Sheckman. They have some of the most competitive prices, and the transparency is industry leading. He published his whole book. You know, their whole roster of availability is just public, all open. He's not playing any games. And he's just as urgent with getting out this message as I am. That's why I was happy to get to know Andy here now, and he's one of our affiliates for precious metals. If you want to roll over the 401k retirement account, of course, we have that available as well. It's a way to support the show, and it's a way to protect your wealth. And if you just watch what the smart institutional money is doing, well, they're picking up a few of these little bad boys too. In fact, they're actually draining millions per day. And this has been going on to a level that we can't keep up with. There literally is a shortage, a deficit of 230 million ounces last year, and I expect something similar again this year. Now, we're going to talk about this too as far as supply and a shortage of Bitcoin. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys think there's a shortage of Bitcoin. We're going to talk about this in regards to XRP2, but you are seeing it right now. The narrative got fueled by a narrative, right, with the ETFs, and I showed you guys where that was on the charts. That day that the news came out that an ETF had been approved, it then got pulled back. Oh, wait, hold up. No, the ETF hasn't been approved. It was already too late. Crypto was off to the races, and in fact, we've pumped over the last month. Now, this is what you're starting to see coming out from the mainstream crypto and the mainstream news. Bloomberg says this is the start of a fresh crypto supercycle that will push Bitcoin above $500,000 per Bitcoin. Now, I'm going to talk more about this later. 500,000 Bitcoin versus 50,000 XRP, which is more crazier, which is more possible. I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. But the point that I want to make now is that the mainstream has been fully activated, and this concerns me. I didn't need the mainstream media to let me know that Wall Street and all these insiders were getting in on this. We already knew that. So by the time now that Charlie Payne here is running, on the claim and countdown, they're running a segment here, and they bring on Perianne Boring from the Digital Chamber of Commerce, and she steals that quote from Rosie Rios. They're seeing the train leave the station, and they don't want to be left behind. And this is what's happening right now, right? That media pitch is what has me sounding the alarm, right? The red alarm warning signs are going off. And she says in the video, I'm not going to play the clip because we don't need to listen to it. She says that she's talking about all the positives for Bitcoin and all these great things. And maybe it was just an honest slip up, but she said that El Salvador President Nayib Bukele was saying that they've already made $3 billion profit. It's actually not true. If you actually look, it's actually only 3.6 million profit. Okay, so sometimes we have to fact check the Bitcoin bros and gals, Perianne Boring representing the Digital Chamber of Commerce. A little bit of misrepresentation or almost no representation for the XRP community, even though we just won a major fight on behalf of the whole cryptocurrency space. But thanks for giving us a shout out, a little pat on the back once in a while we just, talk about how billions are being made off of Bitcoin. That's not quite the case. It's only 3.6 million profit for El Salvador so far. And I'm going to talk more about Bitcoin versus XRP a little bit later. What I wanted to say, though, is what we see right now is it's all Bitcoin, and you're seeing Ethereum's been able to enjoy the run-up as well, too. But watch for us to get dumped on here soon, right? Whether this rally continues up to 50,000, that's fine. Just watch and be careful, because we did a 300% bull trap rally in 2019 before we got hit in March 2020, and we fell down about 80%. We went from 14,000 back down to 3,800. So we almost set a new low. And so that's why I'm being careful right now. Although everyone's getting excited, although, Wall Street's coming in, it's all being confirmed, mainstream media is covering it. Just watch for that setup. And the problem that I have is the stable coins. And this is the exact point that I'm making. CoinDesk just put out their top 10 most influential, right? And the fact that Paulo Ardono, this is the CEO of Tether and the CTO of Bitfinex. Okay. So as long as he's still in the most, influential top 10 list in cryptocurrency digital assets, I don't feel comfortable with that, right? Now, I thought that they were going to snub Brad Garlinghouse. The early reports were that they were going to leave Brad off the list, but they actually did end up putting Brad on the list. He did make it. And down here, they put him on there for emerging triumphant this year in a legal case with big implications for crypto futures. We have the most bright future in the cryptocurrency space. For me, as I was saying, though, with CoinDesk, sharing that Tether, which Tether definitely is still influential. That's without a doubt. Whether they are good or bad, that's the conversation that we've been having, right? Whether they are backed and actually fully reserved is another different conversation. But I did want to highlight the fact that Brad Garlinghouse gave a shout out to the XRP Army. 2023 most influential award should be given not to just Brad Garlinghouse, but also the entire XRP Army. He says that I could not agree more. 100%. And huge shout out to DAI, actually, by the way. I don't know if you guys haven't seen already, Digital Asset Investor is back on Twitter. He did get his Twitter back. And so the XRP Army cannot be stopped. And we did win. We were called crazy, lunatic, whack job conspiracy theorists. And that's fine. But we've now been vindicated on all of it. We have started to get some recognition here. And I think that we have a whole lot more coming our way. When you look at Ripple IPOing, when you look at how our case sets a precedent for the rest of the cryptocurrency space, we put ourselves here in a unique position. With the additional utility that's coming as well, it's the best spot to be in. Now, I wanted to highlight here real adoption, real growth. Not just talking about it, not just doing cute stuff, actually getting deals done and actually getting custody deals in place. This is Medico with Union Bank Philippines. They have gone live with Medico's flagship platform, Harmonize, to pilot the launch of cryptocurrency services for its clients. So we're just seeing it one after another, partnership with Medico and partnerships with Ripple. 500 partnerships for Ripple now is being reported. And for Medico, I got to go get an updated tally, but we're getting big announcements on a weekly basis now for Medico. And just because Ripple acquired them, the partnerships haven't stopped. They've actually accelerated. It appears that the partnerships and the growth is accelerating after being purchased by Ripple. Now, speaking of accelerating, we are starting to see accelerated utility coming to the XRPL, and I am so excited about this right here, guys. This is so important. What you're looking at right here is from Richard, and he is from XRPL Labs. He's the CTO at XRPL Labs, Richard. Okay, they created the Zum wallet. He created this little deal right here. He says he'll use Remit XLS55 is now live on Zahao testnet. What this is it allows you to send, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to explain this properly. It allows you to send more advanced, different types of transactions, I guess, is how I'll say this, okay? But what he did here, this is so interesting. He issued the amendment, the proposal on XRPL, the XRP ledger, and that's going to be XLS55. And then he also simultaneously put it live on the Zahao testnet. Now, why this is so exciting to me, as I said here, you have testnet going live on Zahao, while at the same time, amendment is being introduced on XRPL. Utility coming faster to the XRPL because these guys get to go break it, test it, trial it, and then fix it on the Zahao testnet, and then bring it back to the mainnet XRPL. This is what moves, and it starts to get us utility faster, right? Because we don't have to wait around for the amendment to go through all of the validators, going to the testnet, or going through the amendment process. They can go to the testnet right away, start playing, start breaking, and start working towards fixing, getting it prepared, and the amendment process is already live on the mainnet XRPL. Now, we don't want to go too fast, right? This is why we have 80% consensus on the XRPL. It takes 80% validation to make a change to the network, unlike proof of work Bitcoin, where you only need 51% of the network to fork it. And that's why there's been so many forks of the Bitcoin network. So with XRPL, we move slow, but we do that for a reason, right? But what we've had here in the past is probably we've been almost too slow in some regards, right? We were late to NFTs. We are late to AMM, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. It's just starting to speed up this process is going to help the XRP ledger grow even faster. And these utilities is what the rest of the space had, and the price action is what the rest of the space had. So now we're going to finally start to get some utility, and I suspect that we're going to be getting a little bit of price action as well. So I love to see that. And on top of that, this is what we're talking about, the EVM sidechain. This is the XRP ledger EVM sidechain, which is the Ethereum virtual machine, allows developers to deploy applications written in Solidity, the most popular blockchain programming language. Let's see why a developer should start using the XRPL EVM sidechain. Well, let's listen here on what David Schwartz has to say here real quick.
One example of a sidechain is the EVM sidechain. Nice thing about the EVM sidechain is that it's easy to develop on for people who know how to develop smart contracts on EVM. Developer teams at PureSys, they've been busy working on this blockchain in parallel with the main XRPL blockchain. It is now live on DevNet. That's where developers can test implementations before they go live on the mainnet. The sidechain is connected to that XRPL sidechain DevNet via a bridge. This is a decentralized bridge that's very important, and it uses the XLS38D cross-chain bridging functionality to bridge to that XRP.
And we've been talking about that XLS38D cross-chain bridge interoperability. It's going to be so critical. It's going to tie us in with every other blockchain. Let's go.
Network. So that's a bridge that connects the development network to the test instance of the sidechain. The next step is going to be to adopt XLS38D on the XRPL mainnet. Once that amendment is approved by the validator community, a new EVM sidechain can be launched to the XRP Ledger mainnet, of course, as can other sidechains. All components of this solution should be production ready to handle real-world scale and real-world use cases. The solution will be a decentralized one. Nodes will be run by different XRPL community members. Really excited to bring a sort of compatible version of smart contracts to the XRP Ledger ecosystem. People already know how to develop them. There's a broad ecosystem of tools.
People already know how to develop them. There's a broad ecosystem of tools, and it's just simplifying the whole process, right? We don't need to reinvent the wheel. They've already done so much code, so much work over here on EVM. All we have to do is plug and play over here. And what matters? Settlement in 3 to 5 seconds with a cheap transaction that doesn't cost you $50 in gas fees. Pretty simple, right? Well, it's going to be available. And you think about that, right? For all of these other chains too that don't work, aren't as efficient, or people just want to source better liquidity, they're going to come to the XRPL. And this XLS38D is going to be massive. The EVM sidechain, absolutely massive, right? And I wanted to highlight this as I titled this session here tonight, $500,000 Bitcoin versus $50,000 XRP. Let's talk about it. So this is very important. You have to distinguish Bitcoin's only real use case is store value, right? There is no utility. We're not talking about sidechains. We're not talking about NFTs. I mean, the memes that they put as NFTs on the Bitcoin ledger basically screwed it up. I mean, it's part of the reason why it's so expensive. It's like $20 for an average Bitcoin transaction right now. It's a complete joke. If you put anything on the ledger, it can't handle it. So there is no utility, right, for Bitcoin other than store value. That's great. Congratulations, Bitcoin bros. That's fine. You actually are going to like what I have to say here. When you look at that, it is suitable to apply a market cap calculation to this asset. It is not appropriate to apply a market cap equation to an asset like XRP, a currency, a bridge currency, where its main utility is liquidity, because it's a different function. It's a different equation. It's a different calculation, different variables. And you have to input those variables into the calculation if you want to even be able to get close, if you want to even be having the right conversation. So let me be very clear. I believe that it is suitable to apply market cap to Bitcoin because it's similar to a stock. How much market capitalization has been achieved, i.e. how much money has been put into it. And in the case of gold, the market cap of gold right now is about 13 trillion. And that's down a little bit off of the all-time high that we just hit for gold. We're at about 13 trillion for gold. But here's the comparison that has to be made. With gold, you do have additional utilities other than just store of value. So with gold, you do have a limited supply. Obviously, there's still more. Maybe they'll be able to pull some out of an asteroid out of space and they'll flood us with gold. Maybe someday they'll do that. But in the meantime, there's a relatively low amount of supply that's coming online compared to what's existing. So it's a very low, quote unquote, inflation rate. And similar to Bitcoin in that regard, but there is a limited supply. There is a store of value. But unlike Bitcoin, there is actual other utilities. We're seeing it in the chips. We're seeing it in the jewelry. You see it in dental. You see it in so many other use cases as well. Not as many as silver. Doesn't have quite as many use cases or utilities as silver does. But gold still has additional utility on top of the store of value. So this is why I think that it's actually possible for Bitcoin to achieve a $500,000 price. I don't rule that out. It's just like when people want to talk about 10K XRP, or I just threw out 50K XRP, just for, let's have a conversation here. I don't stop people having that conversation, $500,000 Bitcoin, $1 million Bitcoin. Sure, let's go there. Now, for me, I look at this thing and I just keep it very simple. If you do the market cap calculator, you pull it up here, our coin value is 500,000 per coin. And I just assumed an 18 million circulating supply. Now, some folks would say it's more. Some folks would say it's less. We definitely have a couple million that's lost. I mean, by most estimates, it's at least a few million, I believe. So some folks might want to give, some folks might want to take, but I rounded off here about 18 million circulating supply for Bitcoin. So that market cap would only be 9 trillion, which is just shy of that 13 trillion market cap for gold. So I actually do think that the Bitcoin bros, hey, they might have a chance. They might have a chance if the governments don't take it down, if the greenies don't make it illegal, or it's a sin to mine Bitcoin and they don't shut you down. All thing goes well. I don't rule anything out like that for Bitcoin. Sure, have a good time. The thing that I question though is, can you surpass a market cap of gold, which has a store of value and has additional utility that Bitcoin does not have? Now, can Bitcoin eventually get utility? Well, they'd have to change the network, which they've already forked it multiple times, and it just took value away from the true Bitcoin, which I'm not going to debate what the true Bitcoin is. Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, Bitcoin Cash. As I was saying, that's why there's been so many forks of Bitcoin, to the Pure Vision, to Satoshi's Vision, to My Vision, to Litecoin, to Dogecoin. These are all forks of Bitcoin. These are all taking away from the pure BTC, I guess, right? I still have my, issues with Bitcoin. I don't care to own Bitcoin, even though send it to 50K, have a good time. I don't care to really partake. And I actually think that it's going to be a big struggle to get there. The other thing that I worry about with Bitcoin is how much of Bitcoin's price has been backed by stable coins that have been unregulated and massively printed, i.e. the Federal Reserve of the cryptocurrency space has been Tether and has been other treasuries, namely, Paxos Treasury printing the Binance USD, which Binance is now delisting their own stablecoin. BUSD is now no longer available. And so that's my concern for Bitcoin, an asset that has been primarily backed by a store of value, no utility, but a store of value and cheap, printed into existence stablecoins that have propped it up. So I think that there's still some things that need to be worked out with Bitcoin. It still has some bumps along the road, but is 500,000 impossible? No. Is it more likely than 50K XRP? Maybe. The thing that I wanted to mention in regards to XRP that I think so many people are misunderstanding and are underestimating. That's the word I was looking for. My apologies. They're underestimating how much XRP is going to get burned. And that's because, as I was pointing out here, with all these additional utilities, EVM sidechain coming, we now have NFTs. We're going to get the automated market maker. We have cross-chain bridge coming, XLS 38D. We're going to get this new one, XLS 55, that's going to allow you to send different payments and everything. There's so much utility coming. And you have to understand that every single transaction on the XRPL burns XRP. So the more utility, the more activity, the more we're actually going to get XRP burned. So many folks, when they look at Bitcoin, right, what's so attractive is there's only 21 million. And then you look and you go through the numbers and you do a little bit of speculation and you think, well, there's at least a few million that have been lost forever. What does Satoshi have, 1 million Bitcoin? And even if that million Bitcoin comes back, I mean, you're still only at what, 18, 19, 20 million Bitcoin? Doesn't really matter too much. The point being is that there's less than 20 million. And so the supply is so small. I think that folks are overestimating how much XRP supply is going to be available for liquidity, and that gets input as a variable into your liquidity value equation, which is separate from the market cap calculation. As I was saying, you can't compare gold to XRP because gold is not a function of liquidity. It does not have a utility serving the liquidity. That is not what gold does. DLT is going to help make gold more liquid, right? XRP is going to be part of that. That's going to be fantastic for precious metals and other commodities that are going to become more liquid through DLT technology. But in the meantime, gold doesn't serve as a liquidity function. It does have some utility, though. And so with that utility and with that store of value, it's achieved a $13 trillion market cap. And with my estimates on where gold goes and with some others' estimates on where gold goes, that could grow substantially, right? If gold just goes and doubles for just easy math, right? If we double up and gold goes to 4,000 per ounce, our market cap is going to go to what? 26 trillion, 30 trillion. So we could see the market cap of gold potentially grow by tens of trillions over the coming decades, right? The growth trajectory too for the digital asset space, in my opinion, is massive, and that's going to grow by tens of trillions as well. And it's because you have coins like Bitcoin that are going to serve for a store of value. You have other coins like Ethereum that have some utility. The utility sucks. The utility is expensive. It's a piece of crap network, in my opinion. But hey, it serves some utility. But then we have XRPL, we have XLM, we have XDC, these networks that will serve tremendous utility in a cheap, efficient way that's sustainable. Yeah, I think that we're going to be growing by tens of trillions. As it relates to XRP, we have a long ways to go before we achieve a $50,000 price, before we achieve a $50 price, right? But when I look at potential XRP price predictions, I think that many people are underestimating the burn rate. And you have to understand that the utility and the problems that we are solving with the XRPL and what Ripple's chasing down the big game. They're not chasing down these little small markets. They're chasing down the big ones. They're looking for the big kill. And you're talking about markets that are moving trillions of dollars on a daily basis. Not just 13 trillion that's parked in gold. Moving ACI worldwide does $14 trillion daily. So consider that. ACI worldwide settles the value, the market cap of gold on a daily basis gets moved. That's why I say it's a much different calculation. It's appropriate. It is suitable to apply market cap to Bitcoin because it doesn't have utility. It has very little. And it has a store of value. So apply market cap to it. It's just like a stock. How much value has been parked in Apple? How much value has been parked in Tesla? Now, with some stocks, you do get paid a dividend. So that is utility. That is cash flow. With Bitcoin, do you get paid a dividend? No. Do you have any utility? Not really. And so that's why we have to do a liquidity value equation on top of looking at a market cap value too, because this is going to snowball. The higher the price of XRP goes, the less you're going to need of it to move that liquidity, to use that utility. So the higher the price goes, the more XRP is going to be taken out of circulation. This is a positive spiral, right? Or a snowball that's going to grow where more and more XRP is going to be put away and more, less and less of it is going to be needed to be used for those liquidity values as XRP price goes. To move, let's talk about, what Swift does. Swift does 5 to 6 trillion daily. ACI worldwide does 14 trillion. So just between those two networks, you have about 20 trillion. The clearinghouse just within the United States does 2 trillion. So you talk about moving just, $1 trillion on a daily basis. That's nothing compared to what we're doing in the incumbent systems right now. But to move that trillion, when XRP goes from $10 to $100, it's going to take significantly less XRP, right? Because you're going to have a higher price. You're going to need less of it to move that same amount of value. No. So this is going to cause more and more XRP to come out of circulation as price grows. As that price grows, you need less of it, more of it's getting parked. But that only makes the price go up even more too. You see that? It's the growth cycle that we're about to experience is going to be truly exponential. And is 50,000 inappropriate? If 50,000 crazy, should I stop talking about price predictions? Why? If they can talk about 500K Bitcoin, why can't I talk about 50K XRP? And just work through it. I'm not saying it's confirmed. I'm not saying I'm guaranteeing that we're going to 50K. I'm not guaranteeing that we're going to $50. I'm expecting it to go to $50. I'm expecting us to go to $100. And I'm expecting our currency to get reset. So we're going to be revaluing every single commodity and asset across this planet, every single market. So, what standards we have are 1 ounce of gold is still 1 ounce of gold. 1 ounce of silver is still 1 ounce of silver. 1 XRP is always going to be 1 XRP. And my expectation is it's going to take a lot more dollars to buy that same XRP going forward. Right now, we're still at 60 cents. Folks are getting cleaned out. Folks are getting wore out. Folks are dropping on out. We're losing soldiers on a daily basis. And this is what I've been warning about here as of late for the community. I want you guys to understand this. The rest of the space is already pumping. The rest of the space is already going. Meme coins already going again. NFTs, all this other stuff that is getting everybody's attention. And they're leaving. They're taking their eyes off the prize, which is utility that's going to be sustainable, utility that's going to be much larger than whatever these little coins are pumping and dumping and doing. This stuff is cute, what the cryptocurrency space is doing. Bitcoin, to $1 trillion market cap. That's a drop in the bucket compared to where this space goes. And where does all of that utility value go? It can't go to Bitcoin. There is no utility there to use Bitcoin for. So it has to go to Ethereum. It has to go to XRP. And as I just highlighted here, we have the EVM sidechain to allow you to move from Ethereum over to the XRPL and actually not have to pay the gas fees, actually settle in 3 to 5 seconds, actually have good liquidity. That's what's coming to the XRPL. That's why the value is going to come as a store of value and then for the settlement of value. And then you see that spiraling growth, that exponential growth, that snowball rolling down the mountain. And as that value of XRP grows, the more people are going to be storing it on their balance sheet as a reserve, taking XRP supply out. So right away, when somebody sits down to calculate and do a prediction for XRP and they do 100 billion, well, first off, you can't start with 100 billion because we've already burned over 10 million XRP. 10 million XRP are burned and out of existence. And this is what I'm talking about. We haven't even reached 1 billion users yet in the digital asset space. Go look at the internet adoption curve, right? We're in the 90s, right? Compared to where we're at now, we're in the 90s as far as user growth. And as we get more and more users, we get more and more XRP being burned. And we've already burned 10 million. So right away, we're talking about 99 billion, 900 million XRP that's in existence or whatever, because we've burned tens of millions, over 10 million so far. And we're going to burn some more. And as this network grows, we'll be burning a lot of XRP on a daily basis. And by the time you get to 1 billion users, how much XRP could you be burning, right? Now, this is what I look at is most folks are looking at this situation from a market cap perspective, which you cannot do when you're looking at liquidity value. When you're looking at how much value is going to be settled on a network, it is a different calculation from a market cap calculation. A market cap calculation was created to value a stock, to value a commodity. And it's a completely different equation from a Swift value, liquidity value, an ACI worldwide liquidity value, derivatives traded on a daily basis. What is that? That's not a market cap. That's a liquidity value. And so I've been talking about market cap versus liquidity value for the last couple of years here. You still see that most folks don't get this. And this is why they think it's absurd for, XRP to go to a high price, is because the market cap would have to be this, the market cap would have to be that. Well, you're starting off with the wrong equation, right? You're starting off with the wrong maths. And then even if we go to the point of, okay, we're doing the right equation, you're starting off with the wrong variables, because these folks think that there's going to be 50 billion XRP circulating or available for liquidity. Now, let's be clear. There's a difference between circulating supply and supply available for liquidity. Let's say Swift wants to adopt XRP to settle their flows. How much XRP is going to be in Swift's liquidity pool? How much XRP is going to be available for Swift to tap into? Maybe Swift is going to use the AMM. So that's going to be the public liquidity pools, right? Okay, well, there's still only going to be so much XRP over there. It's not going to be 50 billion XRP. It's not going to be 10 billion XRP, right? I mean, hypothetically, we could get to 10 billion XRP parked in one liquidity pool. That would have to be a very popular liquidity pool, right? But that's most likely not going to be the case. So when these integrations into the XRPL take place, these groups have to take a look at how much liquidity are we moving on a daily basis? How much do we want to store on our balance sheet? How much do we want to keep for treasury flows? There's half a dozen or more other utilities and use cases that we see that we can use the XRPL for. How much XRP do we need? And then this is why they've been sitting down with Ripple, and Ripple's been helping them go through this equation. This is what they're penciling out at the table when they sit down with Ripple. Do we need to acquire, 10 million XRP? Do we need to acquire a few 100 million XRP? Do we need a couple billion XRP? In the case of R3, they decided that they needed 5 billion XRP. So that's a real story. That's not me making something up. And can anybody say that for Bitcoin? El Salvador picked up some, a few million. We have some big whales picked up 1 billion. We have Michael Saylor, who's in profit now. Michael Saylor is in profit now. He got very close to being liquidated. Good thing he's been able to, he's a good salesman. He's a good salesman. You got to give him credit, because he would have been margin called by now if he wasn't able to raise more capital and dump more of his MicroStrategy stock. Side point. You can't say that any institution has really came and pulled up and wanted to make an allocation like that to say, we want 5% of the total supply of XRP. Nobody's come and said, we want 5% of the total supply of Bitcoin that I know. Maybe Michael Saylor's shooting for that. I don't know what his current percentage is. We do know that Bitcoin, the mining is very centralized, and the supply is actually pretty centralized as well too, with many whales who we don't even know who that is. The thing that we know with XRP here is that you have Ripple sitting on a bunch, and they're only selling it to their on-demand liquidity institutional partners. So this is what I've been saying, is that you don't let anybody tell you that Ripple's dumping on us. They're not dumping on us. If they were dumping on us, we would have to be buying that XRP from them. They're not letting us buy that XRP. They're only getting it into the hands of their on-demand liquidity institutional partners. So they're not dumping on us. Don't let anybody try to FUD us out and say that they're dumping on us. They are not. Okay? Lots of trolls on here. Did we get them riled up here tonight? What do you guys think? What is more likely, 500,000 Bitcoin or 50,000 XRP? I'll be honest. I actually think that $500,000 Bitcoin is more, it could happen sooner. I do think that it could happen sooner and more easily. You have much far less of a gap to close there. Okay. But with that being said, you still have no utility. And when you look at store of value assets, they don't achieve tens of trillions in market cap. I mean, gold has achieved 13 trillion, but you have utility too. So show me an asset class that has, show me an asset class that has tens of trillions parked in it as a store of value. You could look at US real estate. You could look at maybe some other real estate markets. That's true. Absolutely. But you get additional utility. It's not just a store of value, right? You don't just park money in a house as a store of value. You know, when you are buying a house, you are buying packaged up commodities. That's why I love real estate so much. You're buying packaged up commodities that give you a utility, that give you a dividend. That's that cash flow, or the utility of living in the thing, right? So with Bitcoin, it is just a pure store of value play. The other thing would be bonds. But bonds give you an interest rate, a return on your investment. Now, bonds were paying 0% after 2020 when they took rates down to 0. Now bonds are paying 5%. You can lock up a short-term CD for 5-6%. So that is utility. That is an ROI, not just a pure store of value. So that's why I just find it difficult to wrap my mind around why this would be the first store of value play to surpass other store of values that provide additional utility and rates of return too. You see what I'm saying? You can compare it to real estate, sure. There's hundreds of trillions parked in real estate, absolutely. But it also provides a roof over our heads. It provides cash flow. It provides tax advantages. Are there any tax advantages for Bitcoin? No. Did we get everyone worked up in the chat tonight? Are you guys alive tonight? You turning up on a Tuesday with me? I'm drinking black coffee right now. I'm drinking black coffee tonight. What about you guys? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I guess it is 5 o'clock now. We've been live for 55 minutes. 5 o'clock somewhere. Any questions, comments, guys? Give me about another, we'll do another 10 minutes or so as I finish up my coffee. Let's do a little bit of Q&A. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. If you haven't already, please make sure that you smash that thumbs up for me. How are we doing tonight? Evan, good to see you. Christy, Mega Man, what's up? Well, and that's just it too. CM, 500,000 Bitcoin. What does that mean for our dollar? It means it's toast. It means it's done. It means your Happy Meal is going to cost you $20. Long Island's, there you go. Messiah, Kelly, good to see you. Bitcoin owners, yeah. Are the Bitcoin bros paying their taxes? Lewis, no adult beverage yet. Still on the coffee. Oh, there you go. A little green tea with citrus. William, I like to hear that. That's good. That's good. What exchange do I use for leverage? I was kicked off of KuCoin, and they'll no longer take me. And I don't do VPNing. I don't really play around with that too much. So right now, I don't have any exchange that's accepting my money for trading futures and allowing me to be a degenerate. Can I briefly go over my exit plan? Okay, yes. Jason, good question. I'll go over it briefly. I want to go rapid fire on the Q&A, so keep on dropping the comments and questions down below. I'm going to answer these questions quickly. My exit plan. Well, first off, for XRP, I only plan on exiting about 10% of my bag. So about 5 to 10% of my portfolio will be sold off by about 20 to 30 bucks XRP. So at 10 bucks, I'll sell a piece. At 13 bucks, I'll sell a piece. At 15 bucks, at 20 bucks, at 30 bucks, at 33 bucks. And then after that, I'm looking to leverage and collateralize most of my XRP after that, and also put it into AMM liquidity pools and receive my rewards for holding my XRP by doing that. So a little bit of cash flow will be generated in that regard. What I plan on doing with those gains, and I'm going to include the gains that I'm going to be taking on my other cryptos like XLM, XDC. I don't really hold many other positions that are significant other than that. I have some Reaper coin. I have some Casino coin. Eventually I will, exit out of those positions. And all of that's going to be going into real estate and private equity. So right now I'm looking at Ripple. Obviously, I've been talking about them. They were available on Link2. I think they just sold out. There should be a link for Link2 down below, though, if you guys are trying to get any other private equity deals. That's what my main focus is right now, is looking at private equity and real estate portfolio, looking at building out both of those. So private equity in businesses that I can control or have a significant stake in, or just looking at private equity deals like Ripple, looking at private equity, companies like Circle. Yeah, I'm interested. I'm going to be doing a valuation video on Kraken Exchange. Even though they're being sued by the SEC, to me, that might be an opportunity. So I'm going to be taking a look at that. Not really looking at the public markets though. And the main focus right now for me is this, the media company, making sure that we can reach out as many folks as possible during this bull run. We'll run that up, and then we're going to create opportunities for folks to take their gains from their cryptocurrencies and find real estate opportunities, find private equity opportunities. That's the deals that I'm focused on right now. Other than that, that's really my only plans right now for digital assets, is to sell off most of them during this coming bull run, other than XRP, and I'll probably sell off all of my other cryptocurrencies. Okay. If XRP, if Ripple hadn't have been sued by the SEC, I think that we would have achieved about 7 to 13 bucks And so that's what I think is coming with ease this bull run for XRP. We need to go up to, it's just like silver needs to catch up to gold. XRP needs to catch up to the rest of the cryptocurrency space. And so we're due for a 7 to 13 with ease. And we already would have achieved it if we hadn't have been sued. The reason why I say that is because every other crypto did about a 2 to 3x from its 2017, 2018 bull run high. So if XRP would have done that, it hit $3.84. That's why I say it easily would have gone about 7 to 13. The XRP shakeout is going to be amazing. Yeah, it's going to be so volatile. We have to prepare ourselves accordingly. Does the AMM have enough votes yet? No, it does not. XRPkey, I appreciate the 5 spot, brother. I heard Coffee talk to me. Got to keep this one eye open for a couple more hours. Good show, brother. Peaky, I appreciate you, brother. We're keeping it moving. My portfolio is full of cobwebs. The portfolio is full of cobwebs. Absolutely. It's very simple. Actually, I in the last couple of years, I've made some moves. And that portfolio, yeah, I don't really play with it too much. I just kind of add to those positions. I've traded out of bags like Algorand. I've traded out of XLM once. Now I'm back into XLM. I've traded out of XDC once. And where I've been playing is my trading bag. My trading bag's separate from all the rest of these. And my trading bag, I was fairly active. I mean, I was doing swing trading, and it was exclusively Bitcoin shorts. And yeah, we were making some good money. But then Qcoin found out that I lived in the United States, and they kicked me off. Do I think that? Oh, Ronald, you're a private. You're a pilot. That's awesome, brother. Yeah, I don't think that I'll own a private plane. The memberships are interesting to me. The memberships are interesting, where you just pay to be in a club, and you can go use them, use and abuse them. It's just like boats. I'm counting on you guys to buy boats and invite me onto your yacht. Okay, I'm not going to be buying no yachts for me, no boats for me. No, I'm coming onto your guys' boat. Final questions, folks, please drop them on down below. And if you haven't already, please make sure you like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. And we will have a lot more content coming your guys' way. We're just getting caught up to speed. That's why tonight's show, I had to go off for about an hour. Had a lot to cover. We got a troll in the chat. What's the troll saying? Why did Kendra Hill jump ship? I don't believe that that's the real Kendra Hill. My voice reminds you of Tom Brady. That's funny. I've been called that a couple times now. Yeah, good point, Brenda. Thank you so much. Another person says that XLM might 100x. Yeah, XLM is ready to rip. Absolutely. Yep. I'm gonna buy a farm. That's where it's at for me too. Yeah, we're looking to get some land. We're gonna be building the real estate portfolio. We want to get good land. I love just the idea of cultivating land. I think that bringing utility is going to be the main focus for me with my real estate investment portfolio. Folks need quality housing, and then we still need to maintain our farmland. So that to me is kind of the main focus right there, is utility housing. And, I'd love to have my own ranch. So I'm really looking forward to that. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this session. On the way out, please hit that like button. And if you guys have any other questions, comments, the only place to get in touch with me, guys, is through my website, zachrector.com. I no longer respond to any social media DMs, nothing like that, because there's so many scammers and impersonators out there. So I am not DMing you. That is not me. That is a scammer, an impersonator, and I don't have a trading bot. I'm not going to trade for you. Don't send me anything. Right? If you want to join our community, there's only one place to do it. If you want to get in touch with me, there's only one place to do it, and it's zachrector.com. So go take advantage of that. You guys know we're running a special through the end of this year. Sign up for your Patreon membership, 1-year membership. You can save 13% off. And please talk to your tax accountant or advisor about writing off that business expense as well. Take advantage of it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. I will see you in the next one. God bless you all. Thank you so much.